unceded traditional territories of the Coast Salish nations of Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh.
Good morning, folks. Here are your 10:30 a.m. news headlines. I'm Bahar Garian for BCIT News. The union representing Canada Post employees on strike says it will meet tonight with the federal minister in charge of the Crown Corporation after accusing Ottawa of trampling on the collective bargaining process. Reporter Rob Westgate has more.
It has been almost 2 weeks since postal workers hit the picket lines after the government announced sweeping changes to Canada Post mandate. Changes that Procurement Minister Joël Lightbound said would allow the struggling institute to overhaul its operations in the midst of negotiations with the union. Now, the Canadian Union of Postal Workers is asking the minister to roll back those changes, including the end of daily mail delivery, the expansion of community mailboxes, and the closure of some rural post offices. The union says such seismic shifts would hurt the long-term future of the Postal Service. It also notes that government intervention has been unhelpful nearly 2 years into the bargaining process. Rob Westgate, The Canadian Press.
And now here's our producer Joe with a preview of the stories our reporters are chasing today.
Hi, Bahar. Thanks. So our reporter Riley Cunningham is chasing a story about the Monday Run Club, which occasionally hosts speed dating events where they combine running and dating together. Caleb Templeton is investigating whether the shared city model of the 2026 FIFA World Cup is resulting in higher ticket prices for Canadian fans. Clara Lonto is speaking to a TransLink representative about the recently announced extension of their UPass program.
And Joe, what do we have coming up for the record today?
Yeah, today's FTR is being handled by Kai Garcia, who's interviewing a Be on the Lookout member about the updated list of Canada's top 25 most wanted fugitives. Back to you.
Prime Minister Mark Carney returns to Ottawa today with no real deals to remove U.S. tariffs from Canadian products. But he is assigning 2 of his key ministers to stay back in the U.S. to keep pressing Canada's case. Karen Rebo has more on the topic.
Carney met with U.S. President Donald Trump in the Oval Office yesterday, the second such meeting between the two leaders in less than 6 months. Trump told reporters ahead of that meeting that Carney was going to walk away very happy, but he showed no signs of relenting on tariffs. Canada-U.S. Trade Minister Dominic LeBlanc told reporters after the meeting that substantial progress was made.
There's a desire to see how we can, starting with the steel and aluminum sectors, structure something.
LeBlanc and Foreign Affairs Minister Anita Anand will both stay in D.C. today for further meetings, including one between Anand and her counterpart Marco Rubio. Karen Rebo, The Canadian Press.
Former FBI Director James Comey pleaded not guilty in a criminal case that highlights the Justice Department's effort to target adversaries of President Donald Trump. On Wednesday, Comey's lawyers declared that they plan to argue the prosecution, which they say is politically motivated, and all they want is for the case to be dismissed. Comey's trial is set for January 5th, and his charges have amplified concern that Trump's Justice Department is going after the president's political enemies. Comey's 2-week indictment was preceded by Trump's public attorney to take action against Comey and other perceived adversaries. The hundreds of hikers stranded on Mount Everest during a freak blizzard have been rescued. Sharon Preston from ABC News has more on this event.
Raitan Jangbu Sherpa is one of the guides who helped get those hikers down and says if they'd had more training, the whole thing probably wouldn't have happened.
They're all newcomers, and then basically they don't have the exact experience of what it's like to be. What's the weather, if the weather condition is harsh.
Nearly 600 hikers and 300 guides, yak herders, and cooks were all trapped on the mountain. Sherry Preston, ABC News.
In an interview, Chemistry Nobel Prize winner Omar Yagi says it's been an indescribable feeling since he took a phone call from an unfamiliar number labeled Sweden. And thanks for tuning in this morning. Hopefully you had a good start to your day. I'm Bahar Garian, and this is BCIT News. And just to top it off, for weather today, there's a 30% chance of showers, but mostly cloudy throughout the day with a high of 12 degrees. Again, thanks for tuning in. I'm Bahar Garian, and this is BCIT News. I
Stay tuned for more.
had a little blip
BCIT's
because
1680 The Crow.
I thought I heard Joe say 5 seconds. So I
It's your career, your vision, your goal. Navigate it your way. Flexible learning is designed for you. Learn a new skill or earn a degree at your own pace. BCIT, flexible learning for a complex world.